Do you wave your terrible towel when Renegade plays? Reach for a tasty cake when JJ shouts, "He scores!" Does the sound of an F1 engine make your heart race? Doing push-ups with the Nittany Lion after a TD? Then lend us an ear, and we will share the exhilaration of Steelers football, the excitement of Flyers hockey, the nail-biting finishes of F1, and the pride when we yell, "We are Penn State." Welcome to the SteelFlyers show, the strangest combination of sports fandom since pineapple was put on pizza. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We have two of the absolute best. How about that? We got the Pearls of Wisdom, Perlo, and we also got the Professor Joe Borek. How you doing? And SteelFlyers here. How you guys doing today, man?
Sweet.
Amazing.
Yeah. Perlo, how can we follow you, and how can we get a hold of all your great stuff?
SteelFlyers.com, www. Just look up SteelFlyers Friends. You'll find me. I got everything there. Perlo's NHL POW is my YouTube, and my NHL Pearls of Wisdom, which is not just NHL, it's all sports. You can go check that out on that YouTube as well. We do Major League Baseball picks for Patreon, which is an app that you can pick up, and people go there and they make money. So if you like making money, recommend you go there.
We also do NFL and NBA.
We do NFL and NBA. We do all sports.
Yeah. All sports. So I might even dabble a little bit of college football and a little bit of Formula One in there. How about Professor Joe? How you doing, buddy?
Doing very well. It's a bit bittersweet because I'm a sucker for Game 7s, but I loved how well the playoffs got put together this year, and it was great to see a great series come together of a sleeper team against the juggernaut that was a hard-fought scratch and claw series by the Stars to force it to a Game 6 and almost win, obviously, the game prior when they lost 5-4 in a regular one overtime game. Not double overtime. So you got to give a lot of credit to them. So I just, it's bittersweet because of how much I love hockey. Now we have to wait a little bit for it to come back.
I know. It's like, oh my
gosh. It's like that song, Bittersweet Symphony.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm definitely with you. That's a good one. Joe, how can we get a hold of you, and how can we follow you and get all your great information?
Also on SteelFlyers.com, and then OT Heroics and Pub Sports Radio are the other things I write for that are not connected to that, at least as of yet. But great series, great games to talk about between the NFL, NHL, and MLB. So, let's get into it.
All kinds of good stuff. Yeah, all kinds of good stuff. What do you think, Perlo? What did you think about that game last night with the Tampa Bay hoisting the cup?
Well, Dallas kind of just, I think they finally started to realize that they were overmatched. It looked like that the whole game, that their pushback wasn't what it was before.
No, they looked beat up.
They looked overmatched, and I'm satisfied that logic eventually prevailed, as I've been saying before.
Yeah, I'm just happy it went 6 games because I didn't want it to be a 5-game series. First of all, I did predict Tampa in 6 games. So for selfish reasons, I kind of wanted to go 6 games.
Both of you guys, I said 7. Because I thought it was going to go back and forth. And it did there at the beginning until Stamkos played. After Stamkos played, that was it.
That changed the energy.
That was the end of Dallas.
I was also selfless yesterday, though, because I said I wanted my prediction to be wrong because I love Game 7s. So I would much rather have had it go to. But that's also because I just didn't want this season that Bettman and Deputy Commissioner Daly did so great at putting together that it was kind of a bittersweet, almost emotional, even when your team didn't win, ending to a season where you're like, holy crap, they put this together so well, no positive.
I know.
And the NBA, which I'm not even as big into basketball, but I got back into it a bit just because of not having, they're playing pretty bad defense this playoffs, but just because of how well they put it together too, and they have no tests, positives, and all that, and they've done a very good job. Those two leagues by far the best. It's going to be.
The NBA didn't start off all that. They didn't start off all that.
About 6 stupid players, but they didn't completely have an MLB fiasco.
Yeah, that wasn't it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it was more the magnitude of like 7 to 10 idiotic players that didn't affect an overall team because they caught it right away, unlike baseball where they integrated and then caught it after they reintegrated. So that was the big issue there.
Yeah, no, I agree. But congratulations to Tampa Bay Lightning for winning the Stanley Cup. Once again, 2 ex-Flyers get to get their names engraved on the Stanley Cup once again. Braden Coburn and Luke Shen, 2 ex-Flyers once again get their name engraved on the cup.
What I'm thinking is
as par for course.
Yeah,
that's my favorite part about when they win the cup. I like to think about like Patty Maroon getting his back-to-back and the whole story behind that.
2 different teams, back-to-back different teams.
Yeah,
just 3 in a row.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Coburn,
come to Philadelphia.
Coburn, of course. And like just so many guys are Verheeg, his story, like it was questionable whether he would even play in the NHL. He got kind of like left off the roster in 2 organizations, and then Tampa Bay gives him a good shot to play on his 4th line, and here he is winning a cup. I mean, isn't that beautiful? That's awesome, man. I love stories like that.
And McElhinney, who's been a goalie.
McElhinney,
they were able to finally get one for him. So
yeah, that's the best part about it. And here's the other thing too. Stamkos, even though after he did come out and play, and he did change how things went for Tampa Bay and how things went for Dallas, the fact that he came out and played for 6 minutes and scored a goal, and he's able to now, I believe that pretty much locks him in as a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Oh, I think he already was, but yeah, for sure.
But that locks him in, just like with Ovechkin. Ovechkin, everything the way all the scoring titles, the whole 9 yards, but he never won the cup. Well, now he won the cup. Now that pretty much locks you into the Hall of Fame right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
it also
congratulations.
Hedman is one of the best defensemen of all
time. That's what I was just going to say.
Very well said. All time. When they're talking, he didn't have the greatest game the last 2 games or whatever. The game he had, most defensemen in the league would be very happy to have that game.
I was just going to say like 90%.
Oh my gosh, Hedman made a mistake.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, right.
Maybe we shouldn't give him the Player of the Year for the playoffs because he made a mistake. Like,
yeah, that was a tough pick though because Hedman did so well. Kucherov did amazing with 34 points. Point had 33 points. Like you could have picked a lot of on Tampa.
Yeah,
you had a 3-headed race there.
Yeah.
But I do agree, Hedman, because defense wins championships, as they say, and he was able to take over and score a lot of goals for them. That was huge. I'm fine with it going to him, but I would have been fine if it went to Point or Kucherov too.
That's what I was just going to say. I was going to say Point could have probably been considered as the MVP for that as well, because he came back from missing that game and coming back, and even that first game back, he was playing pretty hobbled. Or 2 games, yeah. But coming back that first game back, you could tell he was still not all the way back. You know what I mean? And the way he played and how he was the barometer for the team. So I agree. Congratulations to Tampa Bay Lightning for a great cup win. Great for their organization. Next thing we have to worry about now is when does hockey come back? Because we got the draft and we also got free agency. Right, and so the draft is exactly. So, free agency the draft happens the weekend of the 6th and 7th of October, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, 6th and 7th.
And then free agency starts that following Monday or Tuesday, the 9th.
Yeah. But I also wanted to say, though, congratulations to the Stars, though, because they went from a sleeper team to a team that got rid of their head coach. Brought in a guy that's been around the league for over 30 years, hasn't coached in the head position for a long time. Figured it out. They've scratched and clawed and figured out ways to win on the back of a goalie that never started a playoff game until he was 34, and then got all the way to the Stanley Cup. Like, it's still a great story, in my opinion. As I said in the article I did for Pub Sports, they're also from the Texas area, so I knew. they would probably do well there. But I do believe this to be true. They had a winning season already, win or lose, because they scratch and clawed to 6 games against Tampa. Their guys that they have that are young that were question marks had very good playoffs.
Third
So,
seed. They come in third seed.
yeah, they overperformed what people thought. Most people had them as a sleeper team, but I don't think they had them as a sleeper team getting all the way to the Cup. So that's the thing where them getting all the way to the Cup led off of Pavelski, who had a down overall season, but is still a playoff mastermind. Perry had a great playoffs. We know Heiskanen and Klimberg are beasts, and then Hudobin stepping up. It's still a great story and stuff that they should be congratulated for, in my opinion.
I agree. And Sagan played way above and beyond where we're used to seeing him play. And Ben played above and beyond where we're used to seeing him play too. You know what I mean? So I think kudos to Dallas. Congratulations to Dallas. There's no hanging your head. I mean, yeah, you don't get to hoist the cup, but you had a very good, respectable season. So congratulations to the Dallas Stars as well. So also, I want to say something else too, real quick. How about congratulations to the NHL with having an entire playoff round robin and Stanley Cup finals in 2 hub cities with 24 teams, 1,600 people total, right? It's starting off with, or something, or 600 people, something crazy like that, starting off with, and 0 tests or 0 positive results for COVID, and the fact that they were able to pull it off. The ratings, the TV ratings were off the charts for most of all the headliner games were all ratings darlings. You know what I mean? And completely crushed any other sporting events that were happening at all, if there was one happening. You know what I mean? So congratulations to the NHL, and man, we can't wait to get back to that. And speaking of,
sorry,
speaking of, go ahead.
I just want to say, I hear, if you're going to, before the end of that, what they're going to be doing for the regular season, apparently, is going to blow your mind. If you thought this is the plans they have for the regular season and all kinds of stuff they're going to be doing, that is going to be like, who came up with this? So it should be pretty cool.
They're trying to see. I've seen different articles. I've seen different things about potentially starting at the beginning of December and then maybe potentially as late as January.
Yeah, I'm hearing like mid-December, but it's the way they're going to do it. That's going to be like, that's so creative. That's awesome. You came up with.
Well, they're going to have to do something creative because let's face it, if you want to get 82 games in and you don't want to be playing hockey in the summer, there's going to be weeks go by where there's going to be pretty much 5 or 6 games a week. There's going to be multiple back-to-backs every week, and there's going to be no breaks, you know what I mean? So
yeah, their COVID response stuff is what I'm kind of leaning
that
into.
too.
I hear it's going to be incredible. The things.
Yeah, I've seen and heard a lot of stuff about how that could be different next year and fun, and how they make it next year might be an interesting way, but I do think what Steve was saying is spot on. It's going to be very interesting to follow what's going on next year. What time in December it seems like they're going to start. I personally, though, have no issue with summer hockey. So, if we have to go into the summer for another season, that is fine with me.
Oh, darn. Yeah, right. I'm good with that. even if by next summer they allow fans in, by that point, I wouldn't care. I would go to any.
Well, that's the big thing of why they're trying to see what they're doing for the start of next season.
Exactly. They want to try to get fans in.
Yeah, you don't know if you can get fans in all over the place, so that will maneuver some things, and you don't know if you want to start all over the place, so that could maneuver some things. That's basically what I'll say for now.
Right. Speaking of having some fans. And this was something that, look, I'm going to go completely off the reservation here on this one because I was so utterly shocked by this. Over this past weekend was the Russian Grand Prix for Formula One, and they were in Sochi, Russia. And it's right, the city and the racetrack and everything is right next to the Black Sea. It's a very beautiful city. That's where they actually had the Olympics and everything like that. There were multiple hundreds of people, thousands of people, multiple thousands of people in and around in the stands, in and around concession areas and things of that nature in Russia. NASCAR had some fans in the stands. Some of the football games have had fans in the stands as well, too, whether they were pro games or college games or whatever. So I think that NHL is going to probably be one of the ones that's going to maybe sit back and see how others are doing it and see if maybe they can have a better way to approach things and come at things with a little bit better of an approach.
Yeah, it's also a little different because all these other stadiums, like baseball, is going to try to have it for the CS and World Series, are open. Well, when they decide to open them, can be open where you can't open a hockey stadium or a basketball stadium. It's not like there's a roof that you can just take off the top of the building and just put back on later. So
Yeah, right. Yeah,
that one concern I think they have is how would it work in indoor facilities, spacing people out compared to outdoor facilities where there's open air compared to restricted air in indoor facilities.
Yeah. Well, hey, wouldn't that be kind of interesting that suddenly hockey games now are played in football stadiums?
Well, it's not sudden. They already did it.
No, but I mean,
it's the stadium series and stuff
no,
like
yeah,
that.
I know,
I'm just saying they could borrow from that and do that.
The problem is that where are you gonna put that where you have the capability to do that, because you
would have
pro
to have
teams
a lot
playing.
of fans. Yeah, you also have pro teams. That's true. You would have to have it be on fields that are kind of older. Like for example, you could probably have Penn just play at the link. So you could probably be like, well, let's use Franklin Field as a site to have games because we don't want to have a bunch of fans anywho. So you can space people out, and it's not the biggest facility that the Eagles used to play.
We start playing hockey outdoors now.
So yeah, or with baseball, you could just use baseball stadiums because that's where a lot of the stadium series, if it wasn't at a football stadium, was usually at a baseball.
Now that's a great point. That is a great point, Joe. You know that because they don't play baseball in the winter.
Yeah, the only teams that you would have to potentially wait on and have share someplace are teams that are in the postseason because you wouldn't be able to put a hockey stadium there until the postseason's over.
Or depending on, like, if it's a California team, there's multiple places in California where you could put a hockey rink and still have a home field for the baseball team, depending. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not likely to happen.
Yeah, there's also multiple outdoor facilities in California.
But that's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I mean. So, but hey, man, food for thought. What the heck, right? Speaking of all kinds of other facilities and speaking of all kinds of other things, we got baseball starting up on the playoffs, right? We got the AL and the NL starting up here in the next 2 days. And we got a bunch of games rolling off here today, right? The first one starts right
now.
What, 2 minutes ago?
Yeah, pretty much right now.
Should have that on.
Yeah. To Twins and the Astros, right? Okay.
And Greg.
Right. We got a couple of games, 4 games we got today. We got the White Sox versus the Athletics. We got the Blue Jays and the Rays, and the Yankees and the Indians. So what do you guys think, man? How about the Astros and Twins? They're playing right now. What do you guys think about that for the first playoff game of the MLB for this year?
Well, we can't say anything on the game because we gave that to our Patreons. That's why we did series. I did pick the Twins in the series, though.
Okay. All right. Okay. So
I think the big thing about the Astros is nobody wants Houston to win.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was just going to get into, right?
Except for people in Texas, maybe.
Yeah, that's why.
Well,
I don't even know if they want their own team to win now.
Yeah, but you wouldn't want them to win if you're a Rangers fan either.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
They do have teams, yeah.
Yeah, only in Houston. Only the people in Houston want them to win, and that's about it. Everybody wants Minnesota to win this series.
Okay. All right. Go Minnesota, right? Because Houston is the bad guys of the MLB right now compared to what they did from last year and the previous couple of years.
Got a great pitching matchup game 1 though, Maeda Greinke.
Okay. There you go.
one. Yeah.
Okay, what about the Whites? Now, we can't go into exactly what you guys picked here, right?
Yeah, but we can
But
go with who we want to win.
okay, there you go. So who do you want to win the White Sox and the A's?
Well, I again for a free thing, I picked the A's to win the series. I just think their pitching outweighs Chicago's that fell off later in the season. Cease started being more hittable. Dunning has no experience. Bassett's been around, bounced around the league for a while, had his best season this year. Luzardo is a very solid young kid. And then Manaea started pitching well again. So they just kind of had everything fall into place and picked up everybody through injuries. And the White Sox have been one of the coldest teams coming into the end of the season, where the A's have still been okay. So I think the A's are going to win that series.
There you go. And these are the best of 5 for the first
Three.
Oh, best of 3. So they did change it up then.
Yeah, the wild card round's a best of 3. So if the team wins the first 2 games, then the other team is donezo.
Okay,
As one famous announcer would say, "They gone."
There you go. All right. Well, later today, all the games starting are later today, except for the Twins and the Astros. They started at 2:00, and the Sox.
The one's at 3:08.
Yeah, the Sox and the A's starts at 3:08, and then the Blue Jays and the Rays. Wow, Toronto. How about that? Making it into the playoffs for the MLB, right?
Yeah.
That's a start today at 5:00.
I predicted Toronto.
Mr. Canada, eh? You predicted Toronto? Really? Go figure.
Because I have a brain like that. Yeah, right. Total homer all the way. Absolutely. I didn't know if they were going to make it. I had no idea. I just wanted them to make it. And do I want them to win? Absolutely, no doubt about it. I would love to see a young team like this. I think they're the most exciting team in right now because of the young hitting. Because of their young hitting, everybody wants to see. I call them the fat twins. Guerrero, he's such a nice boy. He likes to. I want to see them win for that reason. I just love to see young, and because I am definitely without a doubt a Toronto fan. But who doesn't like to see the young team, the young kids win with the big smiles on their face, and nobody expects it, and I think it's a great story, and I'd love to see it, but they're not going to.
Okay, man. All that. So I'm taking that, Joe. I guess you're going with the Blue Jays on this, or do you like the Rays, or do you?
I think the Rays are going to win the series. Yeah, I do think the Jays will make it go to 3 games because Ryu can beat Glass now because he has been more hittable this year. He's going to be a guy, like I said in our video for BPAL, the free video we put out. He got great last year, really clicked it in a little bit off this year, and I think next year is when he's really going to adjust from this year and look at last year compared to this year and really hone it in fully next year. But if you leave fastballs over the plate to Toronto, that's the game they can win, and then Morton will capture game 3 for as long as they keep their rotation that way for Tampa Bay, in my opinion. So they'll win the series.
The Jays is going to be the bats, Teoscar, Bichette.
Yeah,
that's what's going to.
Another fun young team to watch, though, that we'll get to is the Drays, who are actually in a position to potentially go far in the postseason.
Yeah, Padres would be cool too. Padres are. Yeah, the Padres.
Okay, there you go. Well, they're not going to be the next team that we're going to talk about just yet, but we're going to talk about the dare I say the dreaded Yankees.
Oh yeah.
Against the Indians. I mean, is it that bad that I would have to say go Cleveland?
Well, if you're asking me, I'm saying go Cleveland. Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah, I'm going Cleveland.
I'm not a Yankees fan, so.
But more than likely, the Yankees are probably take care of business.
I don't know.
I think
Pitching for the Indians is pretty darn good.
The last 2 years, they've played really well. They've been the last couple years, the Cleveland Indians have been up in there. They were in the playoffs last year, right?
Is there any team that has a better top 3 for pitching in at least the American League?
On name-wise, yes, probably, but statistic-wise, no. It depends how you rank your top three. A lot of people rank their top three based off of people they know, which the Indian Plesac, but I would say no, not off of like Plesac's great statistically. Shane Bieber won the pitching triple crown, so he's great statistically. And then the Indians have guys to pick from because you're not going to pitch Quantrill as a starter in the playoffs, but he started pitching amazing. You got Carrasco, you got Savale. The Yankees are not that deep at pitching anymore because of injuries and such. And Jordan Montgomery came back and pitched all right, but then he really struggled after a couple starts to have a 5-something ERA to round out the season. They really need to win Tanaka's game, and so they would have to win the first two, in my opinion, which I still don't see them doing. I see them splitting, and that's why I give the Indians the nod because they're pitching in Game 3 with likely Plesac is going to be better than the Yankees throw out because they're deep, they're only too deep, and Tanaka also got a little bit off stride to hire his ERA and eternal like WHIP and like all his other pitching numbers and all that. So I think I would lean Indians here because pitching tends to win at least early on in the play.
Now, question for you guys. Yeah. Now, question for you now. They're doing the best of 3, right?
Correct. 3.
Best of 3. So the next series is the best of 5, or are they going to go to best of 7?
Next will be like the normal first round of the actual postseason, so it will be, I believe, a best of 5.
Okay, so this is their wild card kind of.
Yeah, because the divisions. This is the wild card round. Then it's the actual DS next time.
Gotcha.
And then it becomes the CS, and the DSs are always with what you call a 5-game series. I would assume.
Right. That's why I was asking. Okay, so I think we're all leaning on the Indians on that one. So go Cleveland. How about the games that are going to be flying for tomorrow? We'll go with the Reds and the Braves.
Yeah.
I'm so rooting for the Reds. I'm rooting for them. I don't know. I've always liked the Reds. It's always been a team that I like. I like the fact they're a good hitting team. I like good hitting teams, and I'm rooting for the Reds big time. Yeah.
Okay, because I've always kind of rooted for. I've always been like a Phillies fan, and then Phillies fan first, and then a Braves fan second.
Yeah. I don't not like Atlanta, but I just always liked the Reds.
Okay, all right.
The Reds are also one of the hottest teams coming in. They really got hot at the right time. You got Sonny Gray, who has some experience. You got Bauer, who could easily win the NL Cy Young. First game has a great pitching matchup for the ages, too, with Fried and Bauer. I think that has a chance of definitely being an upset to the Reds because they have very good pitching combined with Eugenio Suarez, Castellanos, former Philly Freddie Davis, who's done good in big moments, hasn't had a great season overall, but done good in big moments. And Votto, who's had a down season, but now that he's in the playoff, Joey Votto has been known to perform in key pivotal moments as well. So I think I would take the Reds because of their pitching combined with guys that I think are going to step up in the postseason for them.
Cool. Now, that's the early game tomorrow. That's a 12 o'clock game tomorrow.
Yeah, that's a 12:08 game. They have all these 08 starts for some reason.
Like what? Like, right? Okay. There's also a game 2 tomorrow. That's the Houston Astros and the Twins. And then we have game 1 with the Marlins and the Cubs. And how about the Cubs? I mean, I also have to kind of go with the Cubs too, because for marital and family reasons. if I don't pick the Chicago Cubs for anything that I can possibly pick them for, so go Cubbies.
Yeah, I think it's. I think Alonso's not going to start that youngster. I think he'll become their wild card guy out of the pen. Maybe pitch a few innings at a time, and they're using him well. But you got Hendricks, you got Darvish. you got a guy in Mills who didn't have the best finishing stats, but really showed flashes. He had a no-hitter. He still had a good whip to end the season. I mean, I think they have the better pitching, in my opinion, here. But the Marlins have great developing pitching in Sanchez, Hernandez. You got Pablo Lopez there, and then you
Younger
got
guys coming in,
Alcantara, who's very good. So it's experience versus youngsters, because Lester started having a fall-off season, but then it has good experience in the playoffs. I would still definitely give it to the Cubbies there, but if the Marlins, with how they've been kicking this season, upset the Cubs, that wouldn't surprise me. I just think logically,
I like the Marlins bats a
I
little
was just
better.
gonna say, yeah. What do you think about this one, Perlo? You obviously have a different opinion on this one.
Oh, I don't. I do think the Cubs will win, but I wouldn't put it as a high percentage like Joe says. I just think if Marlins bats get going, you're in trouble, no matter who you got pitching. Besides, like they don't have the Cubs don't have the pitching. I would say that makes me want to. If it was the Indians, okay, but if the Cubs don't have the pitching that makes me as confident that they're going to be able to take out those bats. So
they have,
but I think in the end,
yeah, that's why I'm confident in the Cubs if they sweep because I believe they have Hendricks, and then they're going to use Darvish in game 2. So if they can sweep the first 2, that gives them the most promise.
The thing with Hendricks and Darvish too is they're 2 totally different types of pitchers too. So
you're
going from fastball to a guy who just knows how to dial it in on the corners constantly all the time. So it's a guy that has 11 pitching. What's that?
Yeah, Darvish also has like 11 pitches because David Ross, when I read that article about him, they're like, yeah, Ross is just going to let him be him. And whatever the heck he wants to throw, he's just going to throw out there. So you're never guessing what's going to play against you, Darvish.
Darvish actually throws stuff that you hear the commentators go, what do we call that one? So sort of like he makes it's almost like
that was a
pitch
good
that doesn't even have a name yet.
Oh man, okay.
Like that was a really good pitch you get tweeted at by somebody. So what was that pitch? We're just calling it a very good pitch.
We'll just call it a change up, I guess.
Okay.
Sure.
Brought back against Gyro.
Curveball, sinker.
The sinker pitch to the next game is the Cardinals and the Padres, and that starts at 5:08. Right. And gosh, the Padres and the Cardinals. Perlo, what do you think about this one, man?
I just go with bullpens, and I want the Padres to win. So I like Padres bullpen, and since they get beat up, they've got some bats to come back, and they got a bullpen to hold them in. So I like the Padres.
They've done a little bit of spending over the last couple of years too, in free agency to pick up some players that are contract friendly, that
especially
are team friendly.
Great job.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So it's good to see them in there. What do you think about this one, Joe?
Yeah, the Padres spent pretty smartly and made smart acquisitions. They're also a 37-23 team going up against a team that squeaked in 2 games above 500. So obviously they have the better overall numbers there. So I would definitely give it to the Padres. Flaherty, who's one of the better studs for the Cardinals, again, is another pitcher. Great year last year. Struggled a bit this year. Probably going to come back and put it fully together next year. So I would definitely give that to the Padres as well.
Okay.
And Clevenger might also come back in this series, which is huge too.
Okay. And then we got another game. That's the second game, the Yankees and the Indians. They're doing the 7:08 start on that one for their game 2. And then the last of the game 1s is the Brewers and the Dodgers, and that's going off at 10:08. Okay, 10:08. And what do you guys, Perlo, what do you think about this one? Do you like Milwaukee or do you like the Dodgers?
I'm rooting for
Milwaukee. I think there's much of a conversation.
I'm rooting for Milwaukee because it's Milwaukee. Give them something to cheer about. It's Milwaukee. I would love to see it happen, but I don't think. No.
Are they the lowest seed Are they the lowest seed? Are the Dodgers the highest seed?
They're
Is that how
also the other team other than the Astros that are below 500 in the postseason. They're 29-31. So I
Okay.
don't think there's much of a conversation here. The Dodgers have a historic winning percentage in a 60-game season.
Okay.
This is one just like we kind of brushed it over and moved past it because of a 43-17 team against a team 2 games below 500. This is
Yeah.
one, yeah, brush right through it, Dodgers.
Okay. That was easy.
Pretty much.
Okay, well there you go. That pretty much covers both the AL and the NL for the next 2 days there. So I think that it gives us a pretty good idea of what's gonna happen here for the playoffs. It's a best of 3 series, so it looks like look. Everybody wants to watch baseball in October, right? This is what everybody
Yeah,
was
October
hoping we
baseball
could get
is the most
to.
popular
Uh, right.
part
This
of
is
the
what we could.
season.
Yeah, everybody was hoping we could get to here. So let's see if baseball can put it together and put something good out there. Let's see if they can. Let's see what they can do. They have the stage pretty much. I mean, there's one. Speaking of stage by themselves, relatively, there's one NBA game we have to talk about, right? We're in the finals now, right?
Mm-hmm. In the
Yep.
series. Yeah.
Right? So the finals is the Lakers and the Heat.
Yeah.
This is another fun thing because you got a sleeper team of the NBA and the Heat going up against LeBron and AD, which is a team everyone picked one of the LA teams to kind of make the championship in the West. And obviously that held true. I was always kind of on the Nick Wright camp of being right with the Lakers train all season, so got that one right, baby. Got put one in the bank
I
There
last
had
you
the
year.
go.
Lakers all season too.
So but and the Heat I was putting in a lot for Patreons because they just have some type of energy that you can't explain. Like they're down by 15, 10 so many times, battle all the way back. But the Lake Show has LeBron playing at a ridiculous clip at 36. You got Caruso just doing exactly what he's supposed to do, which is play defense, and now all of a sudden scoring. The thing is, they're winning in spite of Kuzma, who's still not playing well. So imagine if Kyle
Yeah.
Kuzma figures out what the heck he's supposed to be doing
Yeah.
and actually starts playing half decent. They're a team that I think now, with being able to fully put it together and just having a great playoff, they're going to be a little bit too much for the Heat. But I definitely am picking the Lakers in the series. Do I think it could also go 6, just like our Stanley Cup Finals did? Yes, but I would be picking the Lakers.
Okay, so Lakers in 6,
Yep.
Yeah.
right? Okay, and Perlo, I'm assuming you're going to drop some wisdom on us about this one too, right?
Well, the thing I like about the Heat, and you just never know, they're like a swarm. It's they every member of the Heat plays is playing at the top of it that they can play. So if they can, especially if they can do some damage while James is off the court, you know, really take advantage of their spots, which they've been doing.
Can they play LeBron differently than anybody else has been playing him? Can they get him off of his game?
Well, the best
Only
way
if Butler could guard him well.
the best
That's
way I
it.
found Denver to play LeBron is actually to force him to go to the basket.
Yeah.
That was the best.
If you
That's
give him
really
room to shoot, he's going to destroy you all day long.
well. No, it's just that he's gonna. If you can block him off, he's got to pass it off. And when he does that, he tends to sometimes have turnovers. Right?
Turnovers.
Yeah,
Right. If
that's
he's
about.
passing,
You're
that means
not
he's
gonna.
not
You're
shooting.
not gonna negate James. You know.
No. I
No.
understand that,
I
but if
know,
he's
but
He's had a
passing,
lot
he's
of
not shooting.
doubles too. Yeah, he's also had a lot of triple doubles, and the issue with the Lakers being a team that isn't even fully clicking, where if they even get going, you have LeBron and AD mainly, with Dwight having mixed in good game, Green
Yeah.
having mixed in good games, Caruso, Rondo mostly, other than in 2 games, playing like playoff Rondo and not regular
Rondo's
season
great.
Rondo.
Right.
That's
Right.
why he's another playoff type performer, and then Morris having some good games mixed in. Um, so if guys really start clicking it in, they're just LeBron. Also, the windows the Heat execute in they don't really have many of against the Lakers because AD on average plays 35 to 40 minutes when needed. And LeBron on average plays 35 to 40
Yeah,
minutes when not
yeah,
many other
yeah.
teams,
Have
players
guys like that.
stay
Yeah.
out for that long. So your window is very much shorter, and your guys are going to need rest too. So you're going to have to be pretty darn good at timing windows
And rotating
with
guys in and
and
out.
Yeah.
rotating, which is not easy to do in the NBA.
No.
No.
That's why I think the Lakers are going to have a advantage in this series. They got more veterans, but Butler's heat, the mentality he's instilled in them, the way Heroes play, and that's why I think they're going to be able to get it to 6. I just don't think they have the best matchups to guard LeBron, unless if they're able to always force him. But I don't think they have the best matchups to always force him to the paint yet, because they have younger guys that are still growing. Unless if Crowder's able to do fairly well against him, along with Butler himself to force him.
Yeah. You
That's
can
my
make a
concern.
case that
Because
Denver had a better
Myers
chance.
help in the
Yeah,
paint.
yeah,
But
The
yeah.
Nuggets probably had a better chance,
Okay.
I would
Okay.
say. So
Well, hey,
it's
I
not
mean,
looking. I think 5, maybe. Maybe
yeah,
they'll.
you think Lakers in 5? So you're picking Lakers in 5? Yeah. Okay. I don't look. LeBron James is, I guess, one of the better players out there, but I would like to see the Heat win.
Of course. The
Why
underdog.
not?
Who doesn't want the underdog to win, right?
Hey, I picked Dallas to go to the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'll pick the Heat. I don't care. I have
You're
no
gonna pick the
stake in
Heat?
this.
Okay.
Sure, why not?
I think that's
I'll say the Heat in 7.
oh
Yeah,
god,
there you go. I have
that'd be something.
yeah, right. I have no idea. I have no clue. I don't.
You think they'll pull 2 off the Heat? You think they'll
I
win
think they'll at least win 1 or 2. They'll
2?
at
No, do you
least
think
win
they'll
1
go
or
2,
2.
Joe? You said 2, right? 6?
no, I said in 6. Yeah, I think they'll win a couple. I mean, I don't know if they'll
Statistically,
win
they
2 because they have to win 2 to get to 7 games. But I think they'll be able to win 1 game because of the way that they just have been able to put games together. It's just the Lake Show have all those veterans, and Kuzma, if he just figures it out all of a sudden,
yeah.
he has some skill that just hasn't been figured out at the NBA level fully yet. So that's another concern that would be there. And then you can have Morris or Green go off at any time and have good games. And then Caldwell Pope is just there kind of for being a great defender, which has worked out pretty well. You were hoping you got more offense from him, but at least if he can D up people, that's very helpful, especially if he can contain Butler. You're never going to stop Butler, but contain Butler, that would be big.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm with you. I'm with you. So, we also had the final game of the NFL Week 3 happened on Monday night, and we had the Chiefs and the Ravens, and the Chiefs totally just dominated that game, 34-20. It did kind of look like it was going to be a game there at the end of the third quarter there, and the Ravens came out and was able to put some points on the board there for a little bit, but then Patty Mahomes just pretty much took over once again and turned it into the Patty Mahomes show, and was able to once again take the Chiefs, are now 3-0, top of the NFL AFC, along with the Pittsburgh Steelers. How about that? 3-0. How about that? So
Yeah.
going to be interesting to see how the next week goes, because there's been some reports of some positive tests coming out in Tennessee that might potentially affect the game because Tennessee is also 3-0. That might potentially affect the game with Pittsburgh and Tennessee next week. So we'll wait and see how that's going to
For
go.
now, I saw.
Or not next week. I'm sorry. Not next week. I'm sorry. Because Pittsburgh is playing the Eagles next week. Yeah.
Yeah,
so.
Tennessee. Tennessee's playing. No, I thought Tennessee was playing Pittsburgh in Week 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are, because we're playing the 49ers next week. Yeah,
Yeah,
you had
okay.
that right the first time, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
But
I got a little bit ahead of myself.
yeah,
All right. I'm sorry.
I was going to
Yeah.
say Tennessee as of now, when I looked at that report, it said Saturday they're going to try to resume stuff because they're trying to do what I think the MLB said they were going to do in their outline, which is locate the people right away and segment them out
Isolate them.
and isolate them so they doesn't take 10 to 15 days and more so of just a couple days. The Vikings, I saw the report on Twitter that they didn't have any positive tests after testing this morning after playing the Titans. So,
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. That's good.
We'll see what happens, but there's a chance that they might be able to play just by not having obviously any of those players participate, but being able to go forward because they isolated the problem quickly enough. But we'll see as time goes on.
Yeah. So that potentially could affect the game for sure. So Chiefs and the Ravens were the final game of Week 3, and we're looking forward to Week 4 for the NFL. Quite a lot of interesting games and matchups.
Great Thursday night football game this week.
Yeah, man.
The 0-3 Denver Broncos
against
the 0-3 New York Jets. I think that's going to be Denver's first win of the season.
You think? You think maybe you think Denver might be able to look?
The Jets aren't going to win a game this year.
No, I don't think they are.
They're not going to win a game.
No, it's a shame too because I like Sam Darnold. I thought he's a good quarterback, and I thought he was a good pick for them. But when Le'Veon Bell went down for the season, I was like, well, that's pretty much. And they traded away Jamal Adams, so they had nobody back there on the back end. So okay, well, so much for the Jets.
Pretty much mail it in.
Yeah, pretty much.
The Broncos are starting Brett Rypien though, in that game on Thursday Night Football over the kid from Boise State over Jeff Driscoll, who didn't
didn't do too well. Yeah, because he came in. Yeah, he came in and played against Pittsburgh, in that game there when Luck went down. So I mean, we'll see. Should be an interesting week coming up. That's for sure. I'll tell you what, this has been really awesome. I mean, we covered almost everything, right? We have potentially some good meaningful college football games coming here soon. We'll be talking about the Big Ten coming into the fold here and stuff like that. Until you start, I don't really feel that college football has gotten to a point where we're able to talk about it yet, because there's none of the big schools are in and none of the big. You know what I mean? It's like you've got all these obscure schools and everything that are kind of making it, that are in the top 25 now. You know what I mean? So, I don't know.
Sometimes you just got to root for the underdog.
That's right. We're rooting for the underdog, so go Appalachian State, right? Right, because I rooted for a couple of underdogs this week too. So we'll look forward to next week when we'll have a whole bunch of other great things to get into. And we want to thank everybody for watching, and we want to have everybody please click the like and subscribe. Tell us what you think about the show. Please keep the information coming so we can keep the information coming. Joe, Professor Joe, how can we find you, and where can we get all your great information, and how can we follow you?
Again, at SteelFlyers.com, as well as JJ Borek, Borek 26 on Twitter. Everybody have a very great and safe, pleasant day, and enjoy all the great games.
Perlo, how can we follow you, buddy, and where can we get you?
SteelFlyers, man, check it out. It's the best. It's the best there. I said it. www.steelflyers.com. It's going to be incredible. You can check out all my stuff there. Also, next week, this time is going to be the NHL draft. So,
yeah, be looking for something like that. Hopefully, we're hoping to have some more great information and maybe potentially a combination show. You know what I mean? Where we have an NHL draft combo show.
Sweet.
Yeah, why not?
It's my favorite day in the land. I love it.
There you go. Christmas. We're going to have Christmas in October. Right, 2 days of Christmas in October, and then right after that, we're going to have free agency. So it's going to be another Christmas day because I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of moves happen, especially during the draft and especially during free agency, and I think we're going to see a lot of moves. So that's for sure. Thank you guys once again. Two of the best right here, Pearls of Wisdom and Professor Joe. I'm Steel Flyers. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay strong, and hang tough.